Hello everyone. So I'm super excited about this video because, as you know, every Friday I come to you guys with updates as it relates to the stimulus money. So this video is going to be really exciting because this week a lot of Americans have received their stimulus check. We also have some Americans who have not received their stimulus check, and they have had a ton of questions. Over on my Instagram account on Wednesday, I dropped a post that said, hey, if you haven't received your stimulus money, then you're able to go onto irs.gov and you can click on get my payment, and on there you'll be able to get a status on when your payment will be arriving to your home. Now, there were a lot of questions that I was receiving because people were saying, oh, I didn't get my payment. Oh, I went on the website and it told me status not available. It told me try again later. Like, there were all sorts of questions that people had in regards to the website. So this video is going to give all the answers to the questions that I received. So first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. If you are not subscribed yet, please make sure that you subscribe. I am on a quest to get to 1,000 subscribers, and last time I checked, we were at 961 or 2. So that tells you we only need 39 more. So if you can please tell your friends and family to subscribe, share the video, I would greatly appreciate it. We will be having a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, and I know that we can do it, and I'm trying to get there before the end of the month. So we got less than 15 days, y'all, so I know we can do it. So that is that. And then also please make sure that you like this video, and then also please make sure that you leave a comment if you do have a question in regards to what we're going to be talking about today. So let's go ahead and hop right on into it because I know people are ready to hear the details. Okay, so this is what the IRS posted on the 15th of April. A lot of people, when they went into the website and they clicked on get my payment, getting the error message of status not available. So I'm gonna let you know why you would have received that message. There's a couple of reasons why, okay? And like always, I'm getting this information straight off of the website, okay? So if you receive that error message that says status not available, it's because you are not eligible for the stimulus payment. And who is eligible and who is not eligible? I do have a video, the very first video, where I talk about what qualifies you to be eligible. Really, there are a couple of things, and I'll go over them briefly, but that's why you would have received that error message if you're not eligible. And then if you are required to file a tax return and you have not filed it for 2018 or 2019, you have to file your taxes. So if you haven't done so already, that's why you got that error message. You guys could probably hear my daughter. Sorry, she's going crazy. I'm telling you guys, the kids are really starting to hit the peak. They're starting to go a little cray. Okay, so another reason why you received the error message could be because if you recently filed your return or provided information through the NonFowlers tab, which is for people who are not required to file taxes. Enter your payment information on irs.gov and your payment status will be updated when the processing is complete. Okay. And then if you are an SSA or RRB, which is the railroad something, Form 1099 recipient, SSI or VA benefit recipient, the IRS is working with your agency to issue your payment. Your information is not yet available on the website. So if you fall under any of those categories, the 4 that I just read, then that is the reason why you received that error message. Now, there are many other error messages that are out there, and we're gonna go over those. Here's the eligibility. I know that we went over it once. I'm gonna go over it briefly, okay? You have to be a U.S. citizen or U.S. resident alien. Number 2, you cannot be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return. 3, you have to have a social security number that is valid for employment. And an exception, if either spouse is a member of the U.S. Armed Forces at any time during the taxable year, then only one spouse needs to have a valid Social Security number. And then 4, have an adjusted gross income below an amount based on your filing status and the number of your qualifying children. So if you want detail on what that is, you're gonna have to check out my first video because it's a lot to go over and I don't want to go over it in this video, okay? But I did provide that information on my first video. Here's question number 2. Will I receive a payment if I do not make enough money to normally have to file a tax return? Yes, eligible retirees and recipients of Social Security retirement, disability, survivors benefits, railroad retirement, or veterans benefits, as well as individuals who do not make enough money to normally have to file a tax return are also eligible for the payment. This includes those who have no income, as well as those whose income comes entirely from a federal benefit program, such as Supplementary Security Income, which is SSI. No minimum income is needed for the payment, okay? So if you had any of those questions, if you don't make enough to even go through filing taxes, if you're on SSI, if you're on disability, yes, you do qualify for the payment, okay? So next, requesting my economic impact payment. I recently filed a tax return. What do I need to do to get a payment? You do not need to do anything, okay? Just wait for them to send you your money. If you already filed your tax return for 2019, the IRS will use that information to calculate your payment amount. If you've already filed your tax return for 2019, but filed a 2018 federal income tax return, the IRS will use the information from your 2018 taxes to calculate your payment amount, okay? Here's the next question. I haven't filed a tax return for 2018 or 2019 and don't need to file tax returns for those years. I receive Social Security or railroad benefits. What do I need to do to get a payment? You don't have to do anything. You're not required to file taxes, so you don't have to do anything. They're gonna get that information from the agency that pays you as it relates to the amount of money that you are paid, and you're gonna receive $1,200 for your stimulus money, okay? So let's see. You will receive your payment as a direct deposit or by mail, just as you would normally do with your federal benefits, okay? Next. I haven't filed a federal tax return for 2018 or 2019 and don't receive SSI, retirement, or any other federal benefits. What do I need to do to get a payment? You have to provide basic information to the IRS to receive your payment. The IRS urges you to take one of the following actions as soon as you can. You can use the NonFowlers enter your payment information here. It's on the website, and I'll try to enter in a picture somewhere to provide simple information to the IRS so you can get your payment. U.S. citizens and permanent residents can use this tool if they had gross income and did not exceed $12,200 or $24,400 for married couples filing jointly for 2019. All right. I receive veteran benefits. Do I need to provide information to the IRS or file a tax return to receive a payment? The IRS continues to explore ways to see if payments can be made automatically to those who receive veteran disability compensation, pension, or survivor benefits from the Department of Veteran Affairs, but did not file a tax return for the 2018 or 2019 tax year. You can use a NonFowlers tab once again. Who should not use NonFowlers? Enter payment information here. You should not use the NonFowlers enter payment info here tool if any of the following apply. You already filed a tax return. You already received payment. All right, so calculating my economic impact payment. So I did have someone who let me know that the amount that they received was incorrect, and I'm still researching to find out what happened. And this is some helpful information up in here, guys. So stay tuned in, get your notepad or whatever. So what is the amount of the payment that I will receive? So eligible individuals will receive $1,200. Two eligible individuals filing a joint return will receive $2,400. You will receive an additional $500 payment for each qualifying child you claimed on your tax return, being used to calculate your payment who meets the following conditions. 1. The child is your son, daughter, stepchild, eligible foster child, brother, sister, stepbrother, stepsister, half-brother, half-sister, or a descendant of any of them. For example, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew. The child is claimed as a dependent on your tax return. The child was under 17 at the end of the taxable year, and that's how I was able to get my money, because my daughter was 16 at the time that I filed my 2018 tax return. And so because they used that made me qualify for the $500. The child was a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or U.S. resident alien. The child has a valid Social Security or an adoption taxpayer identification number. So that's how you know if you will be getting money for the child. Now, you would have had to have filed, claim the child on your tax return. And if you did not, there's a way that you can fix that, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Will my payment be reduced if my income is too little or too much? So we talk about that in the income limits. So if you have questions about that, I need you to go watch my other video, because it's a lot to go over. The very first video. Is a child born, adopted, or placed into foster care in 2020 a qualifying child for the payment? The payment in 2020 will not include an additional amount for these children, because the payment in 2020 is based only on information from your 2018 or 2019 year. Okay, so if you just had a baby this year, or you just adopted a child, you will not receive payment for them, only if it was for the 2 years that we've been talking about. I received an additional $500 payment in 2020 for my qualifying child. However, he just turned 17. Will I have to pay back the $500 next year when I file my 2020 tax return? I guess this is for me, y'all. No, there is no provision in the law requiring repayment of a payment. When you file next year, you can claim additional credits on your 2020 tax return if you are able to if you are eligible for them. I don't know who wrote that, y'all. That's wrong. For example, if your child is born in 2020, but you won't be required to repay. But, okay, they wrote this wrong. They need to go back and fix this. For example, if your child was born in 2020, but you won't be required to repay any payment when filing your 2020 tax return, even if your qualifying child turns 17 in 2020, or your adjusted gross income increases in 2020 above the thresholds listed above. So basically what it's saying is, next year, like for example, me, I got the full amount, but that was based off of my 2018 tax return. My 2019 tax return, I made more, and my daughter was 17. So what this is saying is, next year, when I do my 2020 taxes, am I going to have to pay back what they overpaid me as far as the stimulus money for the qualifying income? And then will I have to pay back also the $500 that I got for my daughter? And it's saying here no. So that's your answer. Now if they lying, I don't know. I claim my child as a dependent on my 2019 tax return. She is graduating from school in 2020, which is my daughter's situation. Will she receive her own payment? No, your child will not receive her own payment in 2020 because you claimed her as a dependent on your 2019 tax return. She will not receive $1,200 credit in 2021 if you claimed her. So no. It's not gonna happen. I claim my mom as a dependent on my 2019 tax return. Will I receive additional payment for her? No. You will not receive an additional payment amount for your mom because she is not your qualifying child under the age of 17. Your mom will not receive her own payment because you claimed her as a dependent on your 2019 tax return. Your mom will not receive a credit in 2021 if you can claim her as a dependent on your 2020 tax return. So basically, the dependent has to be under 17 years old. Okay? These are a lot of questions. I think these are really, really good questions. This is something that a lot of people are throwing around here, you guys. Is this payment taxable as 2020 income? No. So all these videos you guys keep seeing on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook, like, oh, it don't matter, you got to pay it back. No, guys, come on. Make sure that you do your own research. Do not believe everything that you hear. Even me, if you want to go double check what I'm saying, please go do it, because I have heard that and I've seen that video circling around Instagram, and one of the person page that I saw it on was a star with millions of followers. And I'm like, no, you're circling around incorrect information. So basically, no, the payment is not income and you will not owe tax on your payment, okay? And you will not have to pay it back. It will not reduce your refund or increase the amount you owe when you file your 2020 tax return next year. A payment also will not affect your income for purposes of determining eligibility for federal government assistance or benefit programs. So no, you do not have to pay this money back. I know that you guys, that video that was circling around, it said, oh, they didn't say it was a credit. They said it's an advance, like it's a credit that you're receiving for next year. So that's not the way that I could best explain this is, you know how you get credits on your tax return, especially when you have children. Best way I can explain it. So you get the child tax credit, or you get school tax credit. So for example, when I filed my taxes this year, I had owed like $2,000 and something. But once we put the school tax credit in, it dropped it all the way down to like $600. So this is the credit is just basically gonna zero itself out when you go and file your taxes next year. So I'm not a tax professional, so I hope that I explained that correctly, but that's just basically how it goes. So don't believe everything you hear in the streets, okay? All right. Next, if I owe tax or have payment agreement with the IRS or owe other federal state debts, will my payment be reduced as an offset? No, with one exception. The payment will be offset only by past due child support. We talked about that last time on our last video, you guys. The Bureau of Fiscal Service will send you a notice if an offset occurs. If you are married filing jointly and you filed an insecure, or no, they probably is insecure. If you are married filing jointly and you filed an injured spouse claim with your 2019 tax return or 2018 tax return, if you haven't filed your 2019 tax return, half of the total payment will be sent to each spouse, and your spouse's payment will be offset only for past due child support. So that's the only thing. All right, guys, there are like a million questions here, but we are almost done, okay? What if the bank account number I used on my recent tax return is closed or no longer active? Can I switch and be mailed my payment? This is a good one. If the account is closed or no longer active, the bank will reject the deposit and you will be issued a check that will be mailed to the address we have on file for you. Okay? This is generally the address on your most recent tax return or as an updated, I don't know who was writing this, maybe they was writing real fast, or as an updated through the United States Postal Service. You do not need to call the IRS to change your payment method or update your address at this time. It is important to know if that bank account is closed, unfortunately, they're gonna reject the payment and you're gonna have to wait for a paper check that will come in the mail. How will the IRS know where to send my payment? If you receive direct deposit of your refund based on your 2019 tax return or 2018, then it's going to go to that bank account. If you filed your 2019 or 2018 tax return but did not receive your refund by direct deposit, your payment will be mailed to the address that the IRS has on file. And I am hoping that the address that you have on file is an address that you still live at. And I think that is causing a lot of problems. When you move around a lot, you change your phone number a lot, you change your bank account a lot, and you're always on the go and moving, it's kind of hard for places to keep up with you. And so if the IRS doesn't have your correct address, they don't have your correct checking account information, they're just gonna mail the check to the address that you use on your tax return. And if you don't live there, hopefully you know who does live there, or you have a forward possibly on your mail, so then that way your mail can be forwarded over to you. And you do that with the post office if you don't know. All right, we are almost done. I already filed my 2019 tax return and owed tax. I scheduled a payment. Electronic funds withdrawal, direct pay, and electronic fund transfer payment system from my bank account. Will the IRS send my payment to the account that I use? No, the IRS will not send payments to accounts used to make payments to the IRS. After you properly verify your identity, the Get My Payment tool will allow you to submit your bank account information if your payment has not been processed. So that's another thing. Some people have gone on to the Get My Payment link and they're trying to enter their bank account information, but the system is not going to allow you if the IRS has already processed your payment. So if it's already processed and the paper check is being cut and it's being mailed, then you entering in your bank account information, well, it's not even going to let you do it. That's first of all. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, but it's not. Every time I go in there, it says that, it's unavailable. It's probably because it's on its way to you. And so that's the reason why it's not giving you any information. Okay. If you don't know what bank account the IRS possibly has, I would recommend going back to your tax return and looking there because usually it does have your bank account information on the copy of your tax return. So you can go and look there. What if I don't have a bank account? They're going to mail you the payment, whatever address you have on there. My address is different from the last tax return I filed. How can I change my address? To change your address, if you have not filed your 2019 tax return, enter your new address on your tax return when you file. When your tax return is processed, we'll update your records. If you have filed your 2019 tax return and you do not receive direct deposit for your refund, your payment will be mailed to the address that they have on file for you. This is generally the address on your most recent tax return or is updated through the United States Postal Service. So that's where I was telling you guys, if you need to change your address, you might want to go over to the post office. I requested a direct deposit of my payment. Why are you mailing me a check? It is possible we do not have the correct bank account information for you, or your financial institution rejected the direct deposit. Guys got to know about that. In either case, your payment will be mailed to the address we have on file for you. All right. So those are the most asked questions that I did receive. If there are more questions that you guys have, please let me know. There is a non-Fowlers tab that I really want to go over as well, but this video is already long enough because there are people who have filed taxes, and then there are people who did not file taxes, and there are people who need to claim dependents that were not claimed on their taxes. There is a non-Fowlers tab where you can do all of that information, or you can do all of that updating in. So make sure that you go over to that tab. Now, what I'm gonna do is, because I only upload these videos once a week, probably tomorrow or maybe even Sunday, I'll give a lot of information on my Instagram about the non-Fowlers tab. So if you're not following me, follow me at budget_treasures_, and I'll have more information about that. So I hope that I've answered your questions. If you have more questions, please let me know. But you have to give me your specifics in order for me to answer it as accurately as I possibly can. You can DM me over on my Instagram. I have my Instagram information in my description, and I just said it. And then also, or you can email me to give me your specifics, and I can try, like I said, and answer it as best as I possibly can, okay? I don't work for the IRS. I can't look up your information in the system, so I don't know, but I could just go based on what I read and what I have gotten feedback from people, because I have been following this and giving updates as much as I possibly can. So once again, thank you guys so much for following me. I did get a request from a couple of people actually who wanted to know if they wanted to support me, how could they support me? And then they also suggested that I enter the information on my YouTube channel. So if you would like to support me, you are more than welcome to. I'm not gonna turn down no support, but my Cash App is down in the description box. If you want to support me in any kind of way, if you want to give me $1, $2, $3, $4, nothing, you don't have to either. But for those people who did request that I do this so that you guys could support, they really value the information that I bring to them, and they said they just wanted to support, and they asked me to do this, so I'm gonna do it. So my Cash App is JazmineWaller with the $sign somewhere. I don't know about heart, but I'll definitely have it on the screen, and then also in the description box as well. So if you want to support me, thank you so much in advance. I really appreciate it. But that is it for this video. Make sure that you're subscribed. We have to get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. Come here, come here, come here, come close. Come close. Look at all my hairs. Go subscribe and tell everybody. We gotta get to 1,000 before April 30th, okay? We gotta get to 1,000, you guys. I'm so excited. Okay, let me go to bed because it's like midnight. Okay, you guys. Well, I will see you in the next video. Take care and go be great with your stimulus check, boo. Peace out.